Yes, guys, what's going on? It's Jack from Conteh Sports, owner and founder. Founded the company back in 2019, but officially launched in 2020, so roughly been going for about 4 years now. The original idea from Conteh Sports came from really being at a bit of a crossroad, just in like life, I suppose. I suppose a lot of people go through it like as a university student, like you go to uni, you don't really know what you're doing. I was there to play rugby predominantly, and it comes to that moment where it's like, well, what are you going to do after uni? And this is something that I was thinking about for like probably as soon as I got into my second year of uni. And then one day I had a light bulb moment. Well, I actually had two. I was like, I'm either going to open a gym or I'm going to start a supplement brand. It was between the gym or a supplement brand, is because like I've always loved training. Like I say, I originally got into training because of rugby, but then it started quickly becoming that I preferred like going to the gym and training, and just training hard became more pleasurable than actually playing the sport of rugby. So then that's why I was like, oh, I've actually got a real passion for this. But at the same time as well, like I was already like making my own supplements, weirdly enough. So like you can go online, you can buy a bag of caffeine, you can buy a bag of citrulline, you can buy a bag of beta-alanine, and I'd play around with the dosages before the gym, and I'd like make my own pre-workout. So it all kind of just clicked. I think my naivety to the supplement brand or the supplement industry is what has got us to where we are now, because everything has just been, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll find a way. And I've kind of just stumbled forward, and if I've not stumbled, I've fell forward, but always like managed to figure it out basically. When I was originally a consumer, when I was a teenager in my early 20s, it was apparent that when these large companies, like these big conglomerate companies, were making products, it was apparent that the dosages in certain ingredients within a product were underdosed, because you'd Google like how much should I be taking of, I don't know, beta-alanine for an example, and you might get a gram in a serving for a product, and that's well underdosed. So that's why I started making my own stuff. The industry's evolved since then. Everyone's a lot more clued up now, which is great, because you can actually make products that are made to work, and people respect the fact that some products cost more than others now. Everything's not really around the £30 mark anymore. Some products are like as high as £50 now, but that's okay, because the consumer knows more about the product that they're taking, and they respect the fact that ingredients cost X to the brand or the manufacturer, and then it's evolved a lot. So that was my original thing. Like I wanted just to make products that just simply just worked for performance athletes. Like it wasn't just going to be about lifestyle customers. It was about to be athletes, like my background that I'd come from. Before Conteh Sports launched, like I say, I was at university. To start the brand, I saved student loan money, scholarship money, used credit cards, had help off a family member, borrowed a loan off a family member, and that was all for the brand. I decided to leave uni when I was in my master's year. I was studying international business, decided that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go like full-time with Conteh Sports. I had launched the website for Conteh Sports whilst I was at university. But I realised that if I wanted to make anything of this brand, it's going to need my full attention. So I dropped out of university at Christmas of 2019. 2020 came around. Conteh Sports was trading. It was obviously a very, very small startup. I was trying to make it happen. And then obviously COVID hit as well at the same time. So bearing in mind, I've left uni, don't actually have a job, I'm trying to start this brand, and then COVID hit. So that 2020 period and some of 2021, like for me personally, was extremely hard, because I wasn't working a 9 to 5 to support myself. Like I can't even tell you like what I was doing or what I was trying to live off at the time, but it was enough and it got me by, is like the main thing. And I don't know, I've always been a believer that if you apply yourself and give your best to something, something will happen. Like I just believe that is like a universal law. Like if you truly apply yourself, something will happen. And then there was sort of like a pivotal moment where Conteh Sports from 2020, the start of 2020 to end of July 2020. It looked completely different to what it looked like now in terms of the packaging, and it was with a different manufacturer. And the pivotal point was I basically took a risk. At the time, we had 10 products from one manufacturer, which is madness, because this manufacturer would literally do like the smallest of small runs. Like, I'm talking like 15 tubs of this, 12 tubs of that. Like, when you work with bigger manufacturers now, the minimum orders for like a flavour of a pre-workout would be like 250 units. And then capsules, like, you're looking at like 500 units, like the absolute bare minimum. So at the time, for me, like 250 units of just one flavour of one product was literally all the money that I had in my bank account, but that's what I decided to do. In June, I contacted this new manufacturer, got in touch with them. I was like, what's your minimum order? They told me 250 units of flavour. So I rang them, I said, I can't do that. I can do 250 units total. Can you do me 2 flavours of this pre-workout? I'm going to call it Conviction. I'll have 125 each. They said, yeah, sure, no problem. So when I say at that point in August of 2020, like, the money that was in the account was literally gone on that one order, which was mad. Like, literally everything, like, I had. When I say no money, I mean like no money in the business, no money personally. Like, that was it. Got on the Conteh Sports page, messaged, DM'd, I want to say 500, 600, 700 shops. Like, I must have messaged every shop in the country to try and buy this new flavour of this new product, Conviction. This is our flagship product. This is our first, like, I was calling it our first product under like the rebrand. And within that 2 to 3 weeks, like, I think the job lot went, well, the job lot did go. I kept 10 back for the website, literally 10, which is crazy now. They all went out the door the same day because it'd already been sold. I rang up the manufacturer, I was like, send me another 250, give me 125 each. The manufacturer laughed and went, to be honest, I didn't think you'd do that. Like, I thought you would have sat on them for about 6 months. And I was like, well, we're here now, so let's have it. I think the main struggle at the start, especially at the start, it's still a struggle now when you bring a new product to market, because you've got to, it's almost like every time you bring a product out, you've got to gain the customer's trust within that category, if that makes sense. But when you're starting out, like, you literally have no trust as a brand. Like, no one's ever heard of you before, no one's ever used you before. That's the biggest struggle, like, earning the customer's trust, like, and rightly so as well. Like, everything is me. Like, there's no, like, secret investor or anything like that. Like, everything that the company has ever made has gone back into the company to grow it. Like, the natural progression of, like, how do we grow in the most efficient way but still deliver the best? Does that make sense? So that's always been the biggest struggle. But the biggest setback was genuinely dropping out of uni without a job, starting a brand, and COVID hitting. I had nothing. Like, can you imagine, like, being at literally one of the best universities in the country to study business, paid for, scholarship, you're being paid to be there as a student, and you've dropped out to go and chase this random dream, and then the whole world has just gone into lockdown. Like, it was mad. So I was doing everything then to try and sell these products. Like, literally, I live in South Manchester, but if someone in Leeds went, I really like your product, can you drop it off at my door? I'd be there dropping a single tub off at the door. Like, it would have cost more in fuel. But that's how desperate I was to make it work. And then one day, I remember it dead well. We were at the old, where everything's really started, at the old office space that I was renting. Okay, so this is where the first Conteh Sports premises was. We had an office in that building there, and then we rented that container. That's where parcels were packed out of. There was like a whole packing station in there. And then that green container at the end was full of stock, and then so was that red container. That was also full of stock. So it's a far way from where we are now. Do you know what I mean? Into a warehouse that was built by us, a lot bigger, can hold a lot more stock. But originally, when we moved to Palatine Road, we had one office downstairs, which was like a cupboard, and we were only using one container. And like I say, we moved to 3, and then eventually we outgrew the 3, and then we moved to the big warehouse. So yeah, this is it. the humble beginnings of Conteh Sports, and we've just slowly grown and built the company. And my uncle came into the office one day to see me, and he said, "Jack, if I locked you in a room and told you to clean the whole house, would you stress about it?" And I went, "No, because you've locked the room." And he was like, "Exactly, well, it's COVID, so stop putting so much pressure on yourself to go and sell the product. Like, things happen at the right time. Like, your time will come, but it's definitely not now within COVID. Try and refine what you're doing." So within that one sentence of him saying that, that's when my mind flipped to how can I make the brand better. That got me on the thought process of we need to change manufacturers. That got me on the thought process of doing Conviction. That also put me in touch with a few shops. Like, everything happens at the right time. And sometimes, like, you've just got to step out of your perceived eye of the storm, breathe a minute, and look at the bigger picture. And like I say, like COVID really, because it gave me so much time to think and actually plan on the brand compared to when I was doing it at uni, where I was juggling being a student, being a rugby player, trying to develop this brand. Like, I had no real time to like delve deep into it, but COVID gave me that. Like, that was the blessing in disguise. It gave me time. It was a massive setback. Like, it essentially took a year out of the 4 years that we'd been doing this for. But like I say, like, it led to bigger and better things. So everything happens at the right time. You just need to be patient with things. The brand being here and growing the way it is my biggest achievement, or proudest moment for the brand. Like, I remember I think it was, when was it now, March this year, we went to Cologne in Germany for the second year, because I had meetings out there with people literally in Germany and Europe, which is mad. And I was looking at all the people that I'm speaking at, or not speaking at, but speaking to. The average age of all these guys is like 40 plus. And I remember I was sat in the reception of the Hyatt Hotel where I was having this meeting, and I was literally thinking to myself, I shouldn't be here. Like, why am I here? Like, I'm 26, 27 years old, and I'm having proper meetings with proper businessmen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've grew this tiny seed of an idea into something now. Like, we are in the conversation. Like, Conteh Sports is part of the conversation. Like, you've got all your other brands in the UK, but you've got us too. And people recognise us as a legit brand. And this literally started in a university bedroom as a tiny, tiny seed of an idea. And I've just ran with it. And like I say, everything has gone back into it. So the brand being where it is today is the biggest achievement. I look around at the team of athletes that we've got. These are athletes that I would have dreamed of having at the start. Like, everything that I envisioned 3-4 years ago is coming together. And I think with the right amount of work and strategy, placement, whatever you want to call it, in the next 4 years, where I'm dreaming about being now, we will be there. But literally, that the brand being where it is today, not just one of these brands that come and go in 6 months, a brand that's got a community around it. Like, that's it. That is the big achievement, and that'll always be the big achievement. Without the brand, I wouldn't have had opportunities to meet the people that I've met, like, or even just work with people that I work with. Like, I literally work with my sister and my friends and my family, like, every day. Like, everyone that is close to me has been brought in, and it's all just been like relationships, like, that have been built. And I think there's a lot of weight in that. I think that's solid. Like, it goes beyond the brand. Like, it really, really does. Like, we all say it all the time, at Conteh Sports, we're a family. When people want to join, they're like, from the outside in, it looks so sick. Like, you all look like part of a family, and I'll see you at an expo and you're all getting on, you're all having a laugh, and your booth's dead busy. And it's like, yeah, because we are like a big family. Like, everyone that we bring in, everyone gets on. Like, that is it. Like, I've always wanted it to be like a big family. And that reflects on the brand as well, with the community that we have. The core, like, the day-to-day people that are here at Conteh Sports, and we've got the athletes, and then we've got the actual community of people around it. Like, that for me is the biggest personal achievement, and it's great. Like, I get to work with my friends every day, my family every day, yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all just get on. So I'd say that's it. Like, that's the biggest one. But like, a tangible thing, for example, would be like doing the billboard in Manchester last year, like that's the second largest billboard in Europe, and to put like the guys on there, like the athlete team, like that was cool. This year was the first time that I went on holiday since 2018. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that, but it doesn't seem like a sacrifice because I genuinely love doing what I do every day. Not a lot of people get to do what they do every day, and I'm in a very fortunate position to be able to do it. Like I love my job, I love what I do. But like I say, things like holidays or going to this event or that was never really a sacrifice. I think a sacrifice as a business owner, I think you do get better with it with age, because I have gotten better with it, but I'm still nowhere near as good. But like you're just never present. Like you literally are never present. Like to the detriment of some relationships and the amount of times you have to say like, oh, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, because you're not present and you know you're not being present and you're trying, but it's hard. Like you can't be present with the people that you love. Like a good example that I'd give is, and again, not to be like too deep or dark about it, but I remember it was 3 years ago, and it was my granddad's funeral. So we've done the funeral, obviously I've come to the service, but literally as soon as the service was done, I showed my face at the reception for 10 minutes and then I was off. I had stuff to do with Conteh Sports. Like it's just things like that. I've gotten better with it over the years, like of the priority list, but it was anything to do with Conteh Sports came above everything. And it can't always be that way, but I think that's the biggest sacrifice. You're never really present. You're always thinking about what needs doing now or what needs doing in the future. That for me is probably like the biggest sacrifice actually, when I think about it. I think it's the people. Like genuinely that's always been the key thing that I've talked about, and that now the team that we have talked about, the team that works behind the scenes, like we're always talking about the athletes or the community or what can we do to make people feel seen within the brand. And that's it. Like there's so many other brands that just push product. Or then they do have an athlete team, but it's all disjointed. Like you can tell the relationship is just athlete singular and brand, not athletes and brand, like as a collective. I feel like what we've done really well is bring a group of individuals together and make it feel like one big family, because it is like everyone pushes each other on, whether that's with their own individual endeavours, the endeavours that they have Conteh Sports, personally, like whatever, everyone literally does everyone else's back. And I think that's been reflected in the brand, and I think that's what's helped grow the community within Conteh Sports as well. So I think that's what sets us apart in terms of from the outside looking in. And then from a product standpoint, in terms of the actual physical, like what you're getting in a product, is that everything we've ever done has just needed to work. Like there's been nothing like, where can we cut a corner here, or where can we maximise this margin? Like it's literally just like, we're about to release Joint Complete, for example. It's £50 for a joint capsule product. It's expensive. I know it's expensive, but it's expensive because it's obviously expensive to me as a business. We do need to make a little bit of money for the business to run, but it's expensive essentially because the ingredients that we've picked and how high we've dosed them is because it works. And that's been the theme with everything that we've ever done. We just want it to work. I think it's having, when I say a team of people, I mean like a team from the people that work here, the people that are athletes, the people that are part of the community, the retailers that sell the products as well in shops. A big team that believe in the vision and the brand. I don't know if it's the right phrase or word, but like just touch one person in a positive way, whether that's, like I say, can literally be a product, or it could be like a reel that we put out that someone might find like motivational or whatever. But if we can touch one person in a positive way every day, like I say it all the time in our Monday meeting, like we've done our job. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, products are the vehicle, or Instagram might be the vehicle that we do it through, but we're doing a good job. And there was one point in time where no one believed in the vision. So to keep going and growing that is great. Like I say, there was no one that believed in the vision at one point. I remember going to all the shops in Manchester. I had 100 tubs of pre-workout that day. 2 tubs were sold, and I think it's because the guy felt sorry for me, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the vision of success, to have people believe in the vision of what we're doing, because it does all come from a genuine place. So yeah, the more the better, the more the people that believe in Conteh Sports as a trusted brand to help them in any endeavour, that's the personal goal for success for me. I think I wanted to do this YouTube series with myself and the rest of the athlete team is because we all pose one fundamental quality about ourselves, and that's really, if you look at everyone's background, where they've come from, like none of them should be in the position they're in. Like I said earlier with me in Europe, like none of them should be. Like I could name loads, like I could literally name loads about, and I'll let them speak about it as well, but the struggle that they've had from literally being a kid to where they are now. They've always backed themselves, they've always believed in themselves, always chose the route to get them to where they need to be. Whether that's hard or easy, it doesn't matter, they just need to get to where they need to be. They've always backed themselves. And I think it's just one of them, like ultimately, again, like I was just saying, if we can do this series and then someone watches it and then they go on to do a great big thing in life and it's because they believed in themselves and watched the series, then we've done our job. Like the series has been a success. My question for the next guest would be, have you ever just wanted to completely just stop what you're doing? What was the reason why you wanted to stop? But more importantly, what was the reason that kept you going?